The Masters Tour continues here in Seoul, South Korea, as we get ready for our next match. Going into round number 6 of 7 today. Apologies for the very slow cadence. I'm trying to get in position. They're yelling at me, move closer to Derek Brown.
Are you ready, Daniel?
No, I don't think they're ready.
Should we get started?
No. You've got me getting started already.
Well then.
All right, well, sorry you had to see all that. I was supposed to be off camera. Round number 6 is about to begin here at the Hearthstone Masters Tour in Seoul, South Korea, where it is heating up, to say the least.
Almost after dark. Still light outside for a little bit longer. But
Is that sunlight outside right there?
I think so.
I thought that was like
I don't recognize it. I haven't seen it
I thought that was
so
the
long.
studio. That's right. We're coming up on what, like the 7th or 8th hour of today of broadcast.
Yeah.
A lot of the players have been grinding through all the Swiss portion. If you guys want to follow along with us, battlefy.com/HSEsports. In fact, I think we have a standings update. So let's go ahead and check in on who is ahead, who is behind. We have a lot of players who are 5-0, but it's slowly thinning down. Zim, Yang, Bong, Goon, Tars, Casey, Suni, Deaddraw, Ghost, Staz, and Topo Pablo and JS5 are the undefeated players, with Gallon having the best tiebreaker. You just saw him lose to Staz, so he lost an undefeated player. Physis Kings, Silver, General, Pilo, and Mago Ho.
Bit of an eclectic group, couple of GMs, sprinkled in there with Casey in particular.
Yep.
I'm glad to see him doing well.
Some Hearthstone veterans
Exactly.
Also in the mix. And then some players who I have no clue who they are.
Yes, I have not heard of a lot of those players, but Deaddraw, my fellow countryman from England, very happy to see him doing a little bit better, because he always does very, very well on ladder and seems to fall a little bit flat when it gets to the tournaments, but a very strong combo player in particular, so I'm excited to see him do well.
We're going to check in on Staz versus Topo Pablo. We're usually following the winners in Swiss, given that there's more at stake with every win. You're trying to secure your spot in the playoffs. Players who are like 2 and 3 are effectively eliminated or around that range, so we tend to not show them. And some of them are tweeting about their 0-3 starts or their very poor records so far. But again, if you want to follow along with us, check out everything about Hearthstone at playhearthstone.com/esports. All right, so with that, Topo Pablo, I haven't seen this guy since the championships a couple years ago, back when he was, I believe, competing at the fall championships, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I know him most in my experience from the Hearthstone Global Games last year. He was on the Chilean team, finished 8th after the group stage, a pretty reasonable position, given that they were a bit of an underdog compared to some of the real titans of Hearthstone, like Germany and the USA.
Yeah.
But put up a very strong performance.
Definitely. I think Hearthstone Global Games has given us a lot of insight into players who we don't really expect to necessarily do well when you're matched up against like a Titan caliber player, and then you're like, oh, they know what they're doing. And that's kind of the beauty of some of these open competitions, right? The idea is that it's not just for high stakes and drama, but it's also a proving ground for many of these players that also want to show that they know a thing or two about Hearthstone.
It's true. And outside of the players who are expected to do well, the couple of GMs at 5-0 in Casey and Staz, most of the players who are the biggest favorites coming into the tournament have done, as you said, very poorly. I believe it was #1 NA points last year, #1 APAC points last year, and number 2 points for EU last year. Had a combined 1-18 record in Saiyan, Tyler, and Fino.
Yeah,
pretty yikes.
They all collectively won one game in
between
9 series.
Them, yes. And yet they racked up more points between them than probably anyone else in the world combined.
Yeah, it was a very bad look. But, I don't think necessarily the reads are wrong, right? If you bring Mage seems to be a good deck, so you can't be like necessarily incorrect for bringing that. And then Prey seemed to do very well, but Saiyan just got bopped. I don't know what exactly happened. I think some of them were saying that they lost to like Reno Paladin. They're like, I don't know what happened. Sometimes you just get got.
Yeah.
I was playing a deck with Derek yesterday. It was in honor of a thread I saw on the Hearthstone subreddit, which was a Stone Tusk Boar OTK Paladin.
Yes.
And so what you do is you play Zephrys to get a Sorcerer's Apprentice, and you have a Faceless Manipulator, a Sound the Bells, and a Stone Tusk Boar. You get the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Zephrys, you Faceless Manipulator it, and then Sound the Bells is 0 mana and it's an Echo, so you just basically buff the Stone Tusk Boar for no 2 care. I took this idea and tried to make Arena Paladin, and it was the worst Hearthstone deck of all time. It was so bad. But I won anyways because I just kind of curved out with random stuff. And I played Zephyrus, and I just had lethal.
Yeah, I mean, we figured out pretty quickly that when we played Prismatic Lens, it instantly destroyed our combo.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't the way to go.
It made Sound the Bells cost 7 mana. I was like, well, I guess my OTK's dead.
I guess I'll die.
But I just won anyways. With exact lethal, because Stone Toe Spore got the 30th point in.
The power of garbage decks.
Well, what's really funny is the person added me afterwards and says, "What the hell were you playing?" And I looked over at Derek and I typed in right back, "I don't know." I just play random stuff.
I know.
All right, let's go into the Hunter Mirror. Wow, we haven't seen this matchup in quite some time.
Ever. What has happened here? This is Reno Hunter, or I guess Bran Hunter, Singleton Hunter, whatever we're calling it at the moment. This is a deck that I predicted would be absolute rubbish.
Did you?
Yeah.
You really thought it would be that bad?
Yes. I thought the only build of Hunter you'd ever consider playing was Master's Call Hunter.
Gotcha. I mean, I can definitely see why, maybe at first glance, because Hunter tends to be much more effective as a streamlined deck,
right,
given that you want to focus the hero power damage.
Yeah.
I definitely thought Reno Mage was going to be a thing. I didn't think Reno Paladin was going to be a thing, but I did think Finley's effect is strong.
Yeah.
And then I thought Elise decks would be garbage as well.
But here we are with...
And Brand Hunter is actually very good.
Yeah, it is 2 players at 5-0. It's getting less and less players with that perfect record. One will have to fall here, but I think both players can hold their heads very high.
I think it's also maybe just a call to how strong the secret package is in general for Hunter to give it a reliable early game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that without it, it's very good otherwise. I tried playing Mech Death Rattle Brand Hunter, and it's really bad.
Yeah.
Very ineffective. But
Needs to go a little bit more aggressive early on.
Yeah, the secret allows you to play defensive, but also just gives you opportunity to fill the curve. And the best part is that it shores up one of the most awkward parts, is the card draw aspect.
Yeah.
It's, Subject 9 and Mass Contender and all of them just pulls it out.
Topo Pablo with a very difficult decision here, because clearly he would like to just go for secret, value trade, be in a fantastic position. However, with the addition of the recent pressure plate, when a spell is played, it will destroy one of your minions at random, which would mean he would lose face damage, not get the value trade, and that Secret Keeper could rapidly grow out of control.
Well, can you even value trade? Your opponent also has a Secret Keeper, so if you play it, your opponent also gets
you're right, I'm
buffed
being
too.
dumb. Yeah.
It's a very tough situation, because when you play Secret, my Secret Keeper gets better. It's very weird. And I remember this dynamic existed in Secret Paladin back in the day. And it was just awkward back and forth. It was like the Spider-Man meme, where both of them are pointing at each other with secrets.
But slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
All right, so we see the snipe. It's a very nice defusal on Topo Pablo's side. Needs a little bit extra change here. So you could play Lynx and then coin, but then if it's a rat trap, whew. If it's a rat trap, he is very sad. I'm very curious about this 9 lives, by the way.
Yeah, what's he going to be looking to hit in the deck? Is he playing a strong Death Rattle package, or is it just to hit some of the more mid-rangey stuff?
I imagine that it's a deck that's perhaps more outfitted to beating mages, because the one thing that you want to do is be able to answer those big giant boards.
Yeah.
And so if you have the Spider Bomb in 9 lives and just repeatedly being able to smash in, destroy random enemy minions, that's probably Topo Pablo's ways that go over the top of those mage decks.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, both these players are 5-0, so there's a reason why their decks are working. You don't just win 10 games accidentally here.
I know, and I think that's one of the things I'm realizing more and more, in that when you have a meta that's so homogenized with Mage and Warrior obviously coming out the top, and Mage really in particular dominating the meta, the deck does not have to have an exceptionally high power level if it's doing the right thing. It's survival of the fittest, right? It's not about the strongest or the fastest, it's the best adapted for this environment.
Very, very appropriate for a hunter Specifically, you know, the wild jungle tamer, dino tamer, whatever. Every card that Topo Pablo's drawing is starting to like really intrigue me. He just plays his Reno Hunter very differently. He's got 9 lives, he's got Archmage Vargoth, but it makes sense. The package,
Vargoth 9 lives is pretty sick.
Yeah, it works together. So you play pretty much Spider Bomb. I would not want to put many other death rattles in the deck.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any strong, like individually strong death rattles for Hunter at the moment. There aren't many.
Ooh, Shadow Word Death.
Probably taking
Shadow
Word
Word Pain, excuse me. Do it! Do the Brightwing! Is that the noise the Brightwing makes?
It looks like he makes that noise. I've never actually played him or seen him played.
Are you sure Brightwing's a male?
Oh, I have no idea. Apologies.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Like I played some other games where there was some interesting like, oh, it turns out this character was like female, and I had no idea because I'm not very familiar with like creatures of the void.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I wasn't even aware that it had a gender. It was just like a beast or a thing to me. So
like turns out Samus, not a dude. Who'd have thought
yeah.
it?
But kicks some major ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Jones.
That belongs in a museum.
You sure about that?
No, I'm not at all. Yeah. Now I don't know what to believe. Staz has the Snake Trap. Needs to just find ways to get to the Dino Tamer Bran, and he'll be good to go. Do you feel like this is just a Hunter's Pack turn here? Would you rather just press in the damage?
Well, what's the alternative? Double Spring Paw Snake Trap Hero Power. It's not bad, right? Allows you to get in the rush to push the rest of the damage face. It's definitely something to consider, because obviously with Dino Tamer Brand in hand, the major point of that card is to close out the game.
Yes, or at least to turn the corner and start closing the game. Because if you get the damage in, their opponent realizes, well, one, I have to deal with this immense amount of stats, but two, my opponent is in a position to hero power. And so I made this comment when I was patching with Gia. Part of what makes, in my opinion, Reno Hunter great is because of specifically Brand and the Queen Crush, but it almost kind of upgrades your hero power if you kind of think about it, because it's dealing a higher percentage of damage at that point in the game. And when you start off just like a normal curve hunter,
Right.
you're dealing like 3 to 4% of their health, right, when you hero power every time. But when you like start doing like 8, 10, it's like dealing like 5, 6, 7% of their health. It starts to get pretty nutty.
I thought you were going for the old argument of why Explorer's Hat was actually a nutty card, because it's basically like getting another hero power when you think about it.
Oh god, I hate that explanation. But I'm just saying, like, you know, if you knock your opponent down to like 12 and then you hero power, it's like you're dealing 16% of their life every single time you hero power. It's kind of like you're upgraded to an incredible strength. And I think that's kind of the secret to why Brand is good, even though we didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my theory. I'm not sure if it's true or not. Maybe I'm just trying to make sense of just nonsense.
No, I think it's very valid.
I'm behind the Hearthstone astrologist.
No. I think you've got some very good points. These aggressive builds of Hunter, like obviously, you know, thinking back to the old Face Hunter days, it was pretty clear that there was enough burst damage to kind of have that pseudo effect, right? Where when you played Leponome 1-1, they were basically starting at 28 health. They just didn't have as much health to be working with, and it was really, really strong. And now it feels like an aggressive build of Hunter is just teetering on the edge of viability.
Yeah.
I know that Viper is a player who has been experimenting a lot with aggro Face Hunter builds.
I think aggression in general is just very good.
I think you're wrong and an idiot.
Well, screw you, you tosser. Is that appropriate to say to broadcast? I don't know if the degree of severity of my aggressive words.
I think it's probably better to stay clear of that one.
All right, I don't know. I'm probably going to get a stern talking to later.
I mean, most English play school insults have their root in something extremely inappropriate.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, Staz gets the face damage in, and Topo Pablo is dead. How about Hero Power doing 100% of the remaining life? Turns out it's pretty good.
Turns out if you play Brand Hunter, your hero power literally wins the game on turn 2.
Staz is up 1-0 over Topo Pablo. And I gotta say that Pablo's primary deck doesn't seem well fitted for the mirror. but I don't think most people anticipate Highlander Hunter to be super well represented. Therefore, games 2 and 3, I think Topapapa should have much more game.
I agree. I think his build of the deck, like you said, with the slightly more anti-mage package with Spider Bomb and 9 lives, I think is very, very reasonable to go for. Because if you can just survive against 1 or 2 big threats early on, being able to push for lethal with your, as you said, your hero powers and Bran is the way you're going to be winning against mage. And I think it's a very consistent strategy against mage.
Yeah, I think that you know what do you want to put in though? Like I guess if you could choose what you want to put in, you put in things like flare and you put in like
For the mirror.
yeah, exactly. But I'm trying to think about like how did he outfit his decks? He probably had an anti-mage and then probably had like even more like anti-control warrior of some kind and then probably like anti-aggro. Is he turning to like an anti-aggro situation there, or is he trying to like be more aggressive himself instead of trying to have anti-aggro tools?
Honestly, I'm kind of theorizing here. I haven't really played against Reno Hunter all too much on ladder, and I haven't played the deck myself as of yet. But I don't know, after the performance it's having here, I might have to give it a little bit of a go tonight to find out what it's all about.
I mean, maybe you just go Did you see the series of Pikachu where he just had Octosari and Deathwing?
Yes,
and
I did.
Carry and Drake.
I was just looking at it like, what is happening? Am I actually awake right now?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're just in some fever dream in Master's Torsoul. Yeah, I don't know. I personally feel like if you do build a Highlander package, instead of trying to have like the right answers to stuff, maybe they have the right proactive plays to answer it. Which is why maybe the 9 lives makes more sense. Instead of just making it a reactive card, you can just try to use it to, you know, be more proactive. I mean, is he playing things like Snip Snap in his deck? I don't know. Maybe. That'd be pretty sweet. Given that 9 lives would allow you to summon minions and magnetize them too.
That's true. That would be pretty sick. I think there's a lot of stuff still to be explored with